Once upon a time, there was a man in the twilight of his life. A wise old man with shoulders bent by the weight of years and grief. In his youth, he had endured heartbreaking trials, losing every precious member of his beloved family. The scars of the past were deeply etched on his soul, but he had found an extraordinary way to preserve their memory. Through the seasons and despite the storms of life, this man named Peter had created a magical garden behind his modest home. Each tree became a silent witness to his eternal love for those who were no longer with him. With trembling but expert hands, he had carved their faces into the bark, the delicate details telling stories of happiness, pain, and a love that had survived all hardships. The trees stood majestically like a living gallery of memories. Peter found peace in contemplating these portraits, recalling every laugh, every embrace, and every moment shared with those who had disappeared from his life but remained engraved in his heart. However, as time progressed, a question weighed more and more heavily on Peter's mind. When he left this world, who would perpetuate his story? Who would engrave his face somewhere to remember the man who had transformed pain into art, absence into presence? This thought haunted him, but Peter was not a man to give up. With new determination, he set about creating a final work, a sculpture that would transcend time and generations to come. He chose a sturdy tree in the center of his garden and began to carve his own face with as much care and love as he had devoted to the portraits of his family. As the carvings took shape, Peter reflected on how his story would blend with those of the other trees, becoming an indelible part of this garden filled with love and memory. And although he couldn't know who would one day stop to contemplate his face on the bark, he knew that the love he had sown, like seeds in the fertile soil of his garden, would continue to blossom long after he was gone. And so, in the shadow of his carved trees, Peter found peace, knowing that his own story would be preserved, that his love and resilience would continue to flourish through the generations, just like the living portraits that adorned the trees of his enchanted garden. If you liked this story, please like, subscribe, and share.